Awesome, awesome. So welcome to our session. The session is From Siloed Automation to Autonomous Enterprise, the Evolution of AI Agents. So I have with me KPMG. So this is a safe harbor. Whatever information is shared on these slides are confidential and used to be used in the context of automation anywhere only. But I think what's very important to understand is imagine something like an RPA bot getting a sudden boost of cognitive intelligence, right? Imagine having a really small RPA bot that you used to use for Excel data extraction and generating a report now has a brain to understand what that data is and give you insight, right? The agentic process automation system, it's all powered by the process reasoning engine called the PRE. At the foundation, you will have the RPA, helps you fetch information from several other systems using an API layer, and then all of the nuts and bolts that are required for you to mount an agentic process automation. And then you have intelligent document agents that can read handwritten notes and all of that. You know, I'm sure you've seen this a lot of. Here's the story that I want to set, in the context that I want to set before I hand this over to Vivek. In all of our jobs, we do hundreds of micro decisions versus we don't contribute to macro decisions that we need to make the enterprise more efficient. Do you understand the difference between a micro and a macro decision, right? Today, you will see a billion-dollar company where you have C-levels sitting and making a decision if a $15,000 shipment needs to be diverted from Europe because over the weekend, Trump decided to change the tariff from 145% to 30%. For a $15,000 shipment, you need the chief supply chain officer, you need the CEO, you need the CMO, sorry, not the CMO, the COO, all of them sitting in a room to decide if they need to divert that $15,000 shipment. That, in my opinion, is micro-decisioning. Now, we do a lot of that in our job. And that's probably why we hate doing our jobs, because why am I sitting and looking at this email and saying, is this rude? Is this polite? Is this the way I need to respond to this email? Right? There are so many times I had to use ChatGPT to say, please make this polite. Right? And I don't want to be sitting and doing that. I want the AI agent to pick up an email and say, okay, what are your thoughts? Tell the thoughts to it, and it should be able to craft an email. A micro decision handled by a super intelligent agent. Let's talk about macro decisions. A macro decision is where a $1 billion luxury goods company has to make a decision on a $150,000 worth shipment. Now that deserves a CEO, a CSO, a COO to come into the room and make a decision, right? And we want to empower them with whatever is needed. So in the morning, let's say you, sir, Sean, right? You go, and your job is to make sure that the ELT team has all the data that they need to make that shipment decision. Do you have to work overnight? No. All you need to do is fire a query out, right? 5 years from now, you think your daughter or your son who's graduating out of college will sit and understand how to work an SAP system or a mainframe system? No. Imagine a world where there are no softwares that you need to work on, but you have this one super interface where you're sitting there and orchestrating agents to do their job, right? Have that in your mind while I am going to pass this over to Vivek, and I'm going to introduce you to him, or he will do his introduction. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I think this is the third time we're doing a presentation together. We're getting used to it. Hi, everyone. I'm Vivek Khurana. I'm from KPMG. I lead the automation and Gen AI delivery service in KPMG. So I'm focused on internal KPMG operations and really a client and a partner with Automation Anywhere. My goal for today is to really, so let's talk through a little bit about what we've done. So At KPMG, I joined about 2 years ago. At this point, we're about 150 automations. We've got lots of Gen AI solutions, like agentic stuff going on. We use Automation Anywhere. We use the other products like document automation in there. My goal today is to hopefully not get into technology, at least for the first half. I'm going to talk about just the words agentic and breaking it down. A lot of people talk about agentic, and I was kidding in the morning, sort of like it's a really good word to get some funding from the leadership. But let's talk through in very plain language what is an agentic, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion, not KPMG, not Automation Anywhere. This is me. And if I were to break it down, let's talk through it. So on the left is prompt engineering. This is what we started with. This is beautiful. This was groundbreaking. I could have a natural language conversation and create content, summarize content. I could then go from text to images to videos. I can do a lot of that creation in a very natural language format. So the example that Khurana gave me, write me an email, do it politely. That's prompt engineering, right? Now, let's talk about knowledge assistants or knowledge agents. Now, building on that prompt engineering, I'm training them what we call the RAG model. Again, I'm without the technology piece, training them on your company data or very specific set of data that the agent has not learned yet as part of their ChatGPT or whatever LLM you use at this point. We made a knowledge agent. You can ask it, what's my travel policy? What's my risk policy? Very specific, can I charge $100 to take my client out? Like very, very specific question. You can answer that question. And these are very easy to set up, point it to the data. And we used to do chat assistants way back, but we were training it on very specific question and answers. Here I can point it to a 1,000-page document or set of documents or even a website, and it learns, and it can summarize it for you and get all the answers. So we've got a little bit smarter. Now we've got the knowledge. We got the natural language. We got the knowledge. The third is what is the groundbreaking piece, and that's where, to me, Automation Anywhere has the advantage. The third piece is the ability to take action across one or more systems based on the knowledge that you acquired, right? And we'll go through an example as well, but the ability to take an action, it could be simple extracting the data out, putting the data in, taking an action, taking a step in there, any sort of action across multiple systems. And then another level to that is taking that action using the information that was in the knowledge. So my knowledge guided the agent to go in A system or B system to take that action. So let's walk through it. Hopefully this will help, and we just created this for you. So I've got a vendor-facing system where a vendor for KPMG can go in and ask a simple question. So very simple chat assistant. I think a lot of people have that. Hey, how may I assist you? But in order to help them, what we did was give them standard prompts that they could copy paste and put it in the agent. So he's asking according to the policy document, what's the deadline to submit? Very simple knowledge assistant question, right? And I get an answer, beautiful. It must be submitted by the 15th of the month in order to be paid by the end of the month. Simple answer. What could have been an email or emails coming from multiple vendors just got answered. Now, we also suggest you can upload your invoice right here, right? You have a vendor management system, or you can usually email it to me, but you can now just click upload and put your invoice in, right? Great, I can now take that action and connect and make that action piece. But wait, before I do that, I actually read the PDF using document automation and said, can you confirm these are the information I got for you? Now, my verification team has less to do because I pushed that verification of reading that PDF back to the user in a very conversational way, right? He says, yes, that's correct. Okay, great, I'll submit it. Now I went from reading the PDF to taking an action in a different system. Earlier was document automation that was reading the PDF. Now I'm going, let's say, in SAP to submit that invoice for him and say, okay, it's submitted, you're good. Would you like to know the status of your invoices? Now I can go in a third system and say, okay, here are your 3 invoices. The first one's paid, the second is in review. Oh, by the way, the number 34 you just submitted. Great, wait. We got even slightly smarter and we said, by the way, the number 33 is missing your description. Would you like to update it now? And right there, the user gives me a description and I go in and update it. I try to not give you any technology information. I just broke it down by saying the agentic piece that everybody's talking about, if you were to break it down, it's natural language conversation, having the knowledge context, and the ability to take action, one or more systems, based on that knowledge. Now, you could have a deterministic flow in the end, or a probabilistic flow, and the difference is, do you want your agent to decide which system to go to automatically based on how it's reading these certain document, or do you want it to go always into system A and then system B and then system C? That's on to you. That's how you weave the process together. That's your process that defines it. That's your risk acceptance that defines it. It's entirely on to you. The ability, the skill here is going across multiple AI skills and using automation anywhere, like the orchestration layer, to weave it together. We've got tons of other AI skills and AI agents available, but the process is yours. And you're the one to decide which AI skill to use and where to move that. So let's go slightly more complex. All right, and now we're trying to streamline the new learning experiences. What could be our learning delivery? And this is where we actually did a prompt engineering chain prompt where we can now create learning material for instructor-led and web-based learning using prompt library. So a combination of prompts can now get you what the instructional designers were doing. You point it to a industry content, your company-specific content, and you get all of the instructional material, the handbook guide, the scenarios that you need to present. It's phenomenal in terms of the output. So it's just a mindset shift. And it's very, something that I put on the right, and it's, if you have to take one thing away here, is a lot of people think, using all of these agentic technologies is cheating. It's not. Let's just be very clear. It's the new way of working. It's not. That's the new way of working. If you have a hiring mechanism where you're ruling out people who are using Gen AI for putting the answers in, that's like, hiring someone with a spoon to dig when someone can actually drive an excavator. That's the analogy I'll give you. So it's not cheating. It's the latest tool that you want your workforce to know about and really help drive more efficiency across. That's, you cannot go wrong with that. So one of the things we did was even broke it further down. And I'll be honest, this is, I have to give credit. There's a book by Galileo called Mastering AI Agents. If you've not read it, I would definitely recommend it. Not a thick book. And they actually broke it down. So they broke it down from doing your traditional fixed automation to how do we add each of these layers to get to a self-learning, autonomous agent. So everybody talks about autonomous agents, but can we break it down? So what we tried to do was kind of break down that hierarchy from no intelligence, being context aware, being multiple workflow aware, and kind of walking it through that. I can take you through an actual scenario here. So I get a new service request. It's a very fixed automation where an automation can, acknowledge that email and confirm the receipt, but I can make it LLM enhanced. I can have a nice response to it, make it more polite, make it have some more information on it, and it can categorize it, it can route it a certain way. Now I've used that prompt engineering side of things. Now I can also react and have step-by-step, back and forth, a confirmation that I'm getting. Are you talking about this one? So you're getting a reaction. The RAG model comes in, and I'm kind of getting a little bit technology-focused, where now I'm getting it to be context-aware information about your industry, your company, that you're making it more aware and more knowledgeable to answer it the right way. Now we're getting, okay, tool enhanced. Now we're going to a specific tool and saying, can I go into these two tools and get that answer? So we went from fixed automation to the tool enhanced where we're taking an action. Wait, but now we reflect. Did I do the right thing? Can I look at the previous agent's interaction and make sure I'm enhancing myself? And wait, I can see that UI interface change. I can learn it again and be able to kind of self-reflect and improve. Memory enhanced. Can I now look at what were the previous interactions? How did this user prefer certain things? And be able to not lose that memory preference and be able to now improve myself based on that interaction that I had with that specific user to improve as I'm going and I'm growing smarter and smarter. Like, this is my preference for the end user. Now we're going into the environment controllers where I can go in and fix myself. So we have a feature within Automation Anywhere where if I'm coding and I can self-heal. Like, my button switched from here to here, I can self-heal. That's an awesome feature to have, especially at scale. And that's when we're going to the self-learning and then the whole autonomous agent experience. I tried to break it down. I went a little bit faster here. But again, I have to give credit to that book, Mastering AI Agents. It was a really, really helpful book for me to understand and break down the whole hype around agentic into things that I can really understand, break down, and make a ladder for myself to learn more. Integrity is integrity. I can't, there's a clear line. There's no fuzziness there. If the rule clearly says you can't use it and you need to be able to answer certain things, because remember, the knowledge is built on humans, and the humans have to build the knowledge. If we don't do that, we're just, recirculating old stuff. So integrity is key, and there's no gray line there. It's clear. If it requires for a doctor to go in and pass that exam without using a Gen AI, I get it. That's what it is, and it's integrity. You need it. But if you're a software developer and you're hiring another one, and you're saying, I won't hire you because you're great at using Gen AI, I mean, that's not, in my opinion, good hiring, because I need that skill from you. I need the basics, but I also need that skill from you. That should be goal-based. Can you deliver that code or that solution for me using whatever tools you have at your disposal?
Unexpected challenges you encountered when transitioning from siloed automation to intelligent or integrated agentic solution, and how did these challenges reshape your implementation strategy?
That's a good one. So it differs, and it differs based on, so I do automation across all our operations, so from finance to risk management, HR, legal, everything, and each one has a different perception a little bit. And I think Indra pointed really well, like, we need to train the leadership. We need to train the leadership so they're not pretending they know the term, but they understand truly the concept and are helping us drive. So I think part of it was a lot of hype cycle around it, where it was like, here's a silver bullet, you'll solve everything for us, versus on the ground reality of, here's what it can do, and let's talk in simple terms and not in technology terms. And then there will be like 20 vendors that'll come in and say, oh, we can do this for you. AR/AP is not a problem. We'll do it for you. Like, we'll have it available for you tomorrow. Great, but let's look at the whole cycle and look at the whole framework. So one of the things we did was we created an AI council that helped us evaluate these different AI solutions that were coming in and be able to look at them based on the use case they were coming in, based on our privacy, security, a trusted AI solution, how transparent it is. There's several factors that we go through to evaluate. And then look at the landscape. Do we already have that available already? And because they might be just bringing because the vendor went to them. And just kind of guiding them, hey, for us, we've already acquired this, we made an investment, might be worth investing here than buying another agentic tool. So that was the other key piece is looking at all of the different AI solutions that were getting pitched at different business users as well.
Awesome. Just to summarize.
So I think it's we did a few implementation, but I think that it's driven by the risk tolerance level of the process itself. If I have a process that's going in and let's say collecting competitive intelligence across 20 portals, right? And I know their websites will change. I know their information can change. I don't have any control over there. I want a little bit of autonomous agent because it can heal, it can find out what needs to be done, kind of the UI automation piece of it. It helps be adaptive, and that's the key in that case. When I'm dealing with a SOX-based finance process, I need it to be deterministic. I need to be able to, this compliance person explained it to me in two really cool terms. They said, say what you'll do and do what you say. And if you do that, you won't have a compliance problem. So you write down what is your process or procedure, and you follow that procedure, and you have the controls to make sure you follow that procedure, you won't have a problem. And you want to make sure the process that you're automating or putting an agent in front of is really helping you still achieve the compliance level, and you have the controls in place. The other thing that they said was, and I always remember, compliance or risk management is like brakes in a car, right? It feels like it's making you go slower, but if you really think about it, brakes are the only thing that make you comfortable to go faster. If you didn't have brakes in the car, you would not go fast. So they're the ones who are helping us make sure when we're really going fast, we have the ability and all the controls in place to have the control for the car. So just if you remember those two things, it's you need to bring them along from a compliance perspective, and that guides you from a autonomous versus deterministic processes itself.
It's more like operational?
Yes. So again, my role is transformation for our operations. We've got folks here from tax and audit as well. Maybe take it as a follow-up, and I can talk you through very specific ones. I'll be honest, I'm not knowledgeable on those processes, so I don't want to even take the, but I am happy to get you connected there, absolutely. So again, if you break it down agentic with the action versus the prompt engineering and knowledge side of things, the action side of things treat it as an automation, right? At least in the initial stages, unless you're getting to the autonomous pieces. You will need to stabilize, and you need to stabilize because we've seen difference between a non-production and production environment, UI, data, that's, we've all learned through that. We call it hypercare, you might call it something else, stabilization. That exists. That environment factor isn't going away, right? Yes, the agents are gone smarter, they can self-heal, great. The front side of it is very, very capable of being probabilistic. It can understand intent, it can understand a wide variety of data, and that, I think the easiest way to start having those RAG models is just point it to a knowledge base and start like asking questions and learning from it. That can evolve. So if I break it down, you still need a little bit of stabilization on the right side. On the left side, you go at it. I think that's really well organized. You're absolutely right. So we actually created an agent. We call it the process genie. We actually pointed to here's the level 4 of a value chain framework. Can you tell me which of these processes can I go in and apply agents for? And it actually spits out, here's the tasks that you can, and here's the ones you cannot. So you can actually train it to say, here are the activities you can do really well, and be able to pull that off. I don't know. So I'll give you another really tactical advice. If you guys use GenAI, instead of trying to just improve your prompts, use the word teach me. Teach me how to write this prompt, or teach me this concept, and you'll see the prompt will teach you how to write that prompt. I know it's like, I know, again, it feels like cheating, but that's how smart it is. And once you try it, you'll be like, this is amazing. It's a prompting strategy. Yeah. Yeah.
So just to wrap it up, when Tony Stark died, he gave us in his will Jarvis. You know Jarvis? Yes. And we've been using Jarvis at automation. One of my jobs, and I didn't introduce myself. Really sorry. You all felt like brothers and sisters. My name is Khurana, and I lead the global business value services for automation. I've been here for almost 4 years now. I have over 15 years of experience in business process automation, all the way from scanning an invoice to data entry, all of that, seen everything to now AI agents. So my job is to prep Mehan with when he goes to a meeting with another CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. Me, I have no finance background whatsoever. Okay? I have to build him a slide or two about how that multi-billion-dollar company is performing. It used to take me 5 business days and 5 sleepless nights to build that one or two slides. But today, with the help of Jarvis, I can completely upload that 10K summary of the company into the investor presentation and get to Mehan in less than an hour and a half on how to weave the automation value story with what we are struggling with. So I urge you to try using whatever tool you have, ChatGPT, Claude, and whatever you have, to empower the way you work. Because if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, there's no enrichment in your work life, right? It's boring to start 10K something, especially when you're not a finance person. But when you have somebody to help you with that, you can have mind-blowing learnings from it that you can apply everywhere else. Okay? With that, I want to thank you so much for choosing to stay here and come to our session. And we have a BVP bar that's happening right below in the bar. And you can get a free drink coupon. It's $18. So just come and talk with me. And I'm not a boring person. I can, of course, I'm paying you for 5 minutes. So come fill up a form. We'll get you a BVP report of where you can find potential savings if you were to adopt agentic process across your business. Okay? Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Vivek. We're going to do another one next year.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Thank you. Thank you again. Appreciate it.